Welcome to Tennis Talk, where we discuss the French Open final with our usual measured diplomatic approach. Joining us today to analyze Aryna Sabalenka's post-match comments.
Well, I think we need to understand that losing a Grand Slam final is incredibly emotional. Perhaps Sabalenka's words were simply a reflection of her disappointment in that moment.
Absolutely right. We must consider the context, the pressure, the win conditions, the magnitude of the occasion. These factors can certainly influence how a player processes defeat.
I would add that both players showed tremendous heart out there. Perhaps we're reading too much into what was likely just raw emotion from a competitor who desperately wanted to win.
Hold up. Are y'all serious right now? What are we doing here? She was a sore loser, period. End of discussion.
Well, Stephen, we appreciate your perspective, but tennis commentary requires a certain level of nuance and understanding of the sport's traditions and etiquette.
Nuance? Nuance? The woman said Coco won because of magic and mistakes, not skill. That's not nuance, that's disrespect. And somebody needs to call it what it is.
But Stephen, you have to understand the cultural aspects of tennis. We don't typically engage in such direct criticism of players. It's simply not how our sport conducts discourse.
Cultural aspects? Listen, I don't care if this is tennis, basketball, or competitive knitting. When someone disrespects a champion, you call it out. Coco Gauff earned that victory.
We're simply suggesting that perhaps there's a more diplomatic way to address these situations. After all, both players will continue to compete against each other in future tournaments.
Diplomatic? The girl beat the #1 player in the world twice in Grand Slam finals. And this woman is out here acting like it was luck? Where's the diplomacy for Coco?
Stephen, with all due respect, perhaps you don't fully understand the complexities of tennis rankings and how they work over a 52-week rolling period system.
Don't understand? I understand this much, and when you beat somebody head-to-head, especially in the biggest matches, you deserve respect. Not excuses about magical shots and weather conditions.
But we must also consider that Sabalenka later posted an apology on social media, acknowledging that Coco played well and earned the victory. Surely that counts for something.
Oh, so now we're giving credit for Instagram apologies. After you embarrass someone on international television, you can't just tweet your way out of it. The damage was already done.
Stephen S. Smith, please stay out of tennis. You don't understand our sport, and you're making everything worse with your hot takes.
Stay out of tennis. I'm defending your champion better than your own tennis people. While y'all are making excuses, I'm giving Coco Gauff the respect she deserves.
Stephen, we're not making excuses. We're simply trying to provide balanced coverage that takes into account all perspectives and maintains the dignity of our sport.
Balanced coverage? Where was the balance when Sabalenka was out there disrespecting Coco? Y'all were so worried about being polite, you forgot to stand up for what's right.
Perhaps we should move on to discussing the upcoming grass court season and how both players might perform at Wimbledon. That seems like a more constructive use of our time.
There you go again, running away from the real conversation. This is exactly why tennis needs people like me, somebody willing to tell the truth without worrying about hurt feelings.
You know what? I actually appreciate Stephen A. standing up for me. Sometimes the truth needs to be said directly, even if it makes people uncomfortable.
Well, if Coco herself appreciates Stephen's approach, perhaps we need to reconsider how we handle these situations in tennis media going forward.
Finally, someone gets it. Look, I may not know every tennis rule, but I know disrespect when I see it. And I know champions deserve better than excuses.
Wait, Stephen A. was actually right about this? I hate it when the basketball guy makes more sense than tennis experts.
Perhaps there's something to be said for Stephen's more direct approach. Maybe tennis media has been too focused on maintaining politeness at the expense of honest analysis.
Now we're talking. Look, I respect tennis, I respect the tradition. But respect also means calling out poor behavior when you see it, regardless of rankings or status.
Stephen, while your delivery is certainly more animated than we're accustomed to, your core message about respecting champions and their achievements is actually quite sound.
See, that wasn't so hard. Sometimes you need an outsider to point out what everyone's thinking, but nobody wants to say. Coco Gauff is a champion. Treat her like one.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Stephen A. Smith defended our sport better than our own commentators. That's embarrassing for tennis media.
Perhaps this is a learning moment for all of us. Sometimes direct honesty serves the sport better than diplomatic dancing around uncomfortable truths.
Exactly. And for the record, I'm not trying to take over tennis. I'm just trying to make sure great players like Coco get the respect they've earned through their performance.
Well, Stephen, if you're ever interested in doing more tennis commentary, you might bring a refreshing perspective to our coverage. Your passion for fair treatment is undeniable.
Ha! Y'all couldn't handle me doing tennis full time. But I'll keep speaking up when I see champions being disrespected. That's just who I am.
And that's how a basketball commentator became tennis's most unlikely defender of justice. Sometimes the truth comes from the most unexpected places.